From the back, we can see that there is a spring-loaded hinge attached. When the magician presses the cigarette against the center of the coin, the hinge pushes back, allowing the cigarette to pass through a hole that has been secretly drilled and disguised with a plug. The plug is attached to the hinge. From the front, we can only see the cigarette going into the coin. When the magician pulls the cigarette back out of the hole, the spring snaps back, filling the hole with the secret plug that makes the hole invisible. An ingenious trick, but now you know its secret. For this next illusion, the magician will use this solid steel plate that is mounted inside a wooden frame. Sometimes magicians use a mirror for this same trick. He knocks on the steel to prove that there are no breaks or trap doors. I can assure you that this is one solid piece of steel. We can now see that there is a space for the magician behind the plate. In this illusion, he intends to dematerialize and pass through the solid steel. He calls for his assistants, who bring a large sheet. You didn't think he was going to dematerialize out in the open and alone, did you? Not when he can be surrounded by beautiful women. He taps the steel plate one more time, then steps behind the frame. His assistants unfold the sheet, which the magician holds up to cover the frame. He raises and lowers the sheet to show that he's still standing behind the frame. He raises it again and, like magic, he's passed through solid steel. The masked magician, one very tricky guy. So how does the magician pass through the solid plate of steel? It's not by magic, I can tell you that. The steel plate is, in fact, solid. There are no trapdoors or hidden panels. The secret is in the sheet. This is where the magician gets a helping hand. Notice that it looks like there are 3 hands holding the sheet. The one on the end is fake. It's attached to a rod inside the top of the curtain. Backstage, the assistants have carefully folded the sheet so that the fake hand is hidden from view. From the front, we'll show you exactly where it's hidden. When they unfold the sheet, it looks like the magician is holding it with 2 hands. From above, you can see that he's merely holding the rod with his right hand. When the curtain is raised, the magician ducks down to make it look like he's still hidden behind the frame, but he is simply slipping around from the back to the front. Since both hands have supposedly never left the top of the sheet, it looks as though he has passed right through the steel. He quickly rolls the rod backward to conceal the fake hand in the sheet and prevent it from being exposed. He drops it to the floor and accepts his applause. But you won't be so willing to applaud now that you know the secret.
Next, the secrets to the most twisted illusion you've ever seen. And popular street magic like bending a spoon with the power of the mind. And using magic to make cigarette ash pass through a woman's hand. Plus, the masked magician escapes from the grinding jaws of a wood chipper before being ground to a pulp. When magic's biggest secrets finally revealed returns
Here's an updated version of a baffling illusion that has been performed since the days of Houdini. Let's see what the magician intends to do with this large contraption. He walks around the box and sizes it up. I'm sure he's thinking one of his lovely assistants would fit nicely. Let's look inside. He opens the door and... vertical stripes, how slimming. He calls in one of his assistants. She looks slender enough to fit inside, and the right height, too. He lowers the top of the box over her head and gives us one last look at her torso. He locks her legs into place, then closes the front of the box. This is a brave girl. But he throws in some hypnotic hand waves just in case. Next, he swivels the head box, first to her right, then to the left. Now back and forth. She's playing along, but I guess she really has no choice. Incredible. A full revolution. She's still smiling. And another. And she doesn't look a bit dizzy. Let's see what effect this has had on her. Now that is twisted. The magician closes up the box. I hope he intends to put her back the way she was. In this condition, she's kind of hard to shop for. A couple of revolutions in the other direction. Is it me, or does she look relieved? I know I would be. He opens the box. And out she steps. No worse for the wear. And she wears it well. So how did the masked magician make the innocent girl so naughty? The secret is in the box. As you can see, it's much deeper than it appears from the front. The striped interior is your first clue that something is up. Magicians always use stripes and patterns to deceive the eye. The girl steps into the box, and you can see that she's standing all the way against the back wall. He closes the doors, and from inside the box, you can see how much room there is in front of her. More on that in a minute. First, we'll explain how he makes her head appear to revolve in a complete circle. Through the opening in the back of the head box, we see the back of her pretty blonde head. But secretly concealed above the opening is a false panel with a blonde wig. This is what we really see. When he turns the head box, all the girl has to do is turn to her right along with the box. When making the complete rotation, all she does is turn as far as she can to the right, then while the box hides her face, she turns to the left and waits for the box to come around. Here it is again. But what happened to that beautiful body? Those are her fingers, but that can't be her torso. Remember all that room she has in front of her? When the doors close, she quickly releases two hidden panels that have been obscured by the painted stripes. The panel on her right hides half of her body. What a shame. It's got a mirror to reflect the striped wall and a center strip with cutouts for her hand. On the left is a similar panel, but this one has a twisted up duplicate of her costume. She secretly flips all of these parts into place and has plenty of time to get ready for the reveal while the magician is pretending to rotate her head. She pokes her hands through the cutouts and wiggles her fingers behind the twisted costume. Here's the secret action with the front doors wide open. First one panel, then the other, all while the magician is demonstrating the head box. This girl is a multitasker. For the second part of the illusion, she reverses the process, quickly flipping the panels back into their hiding places. And there she is, not the least bit out of shape.
Next, the masked magician shows you how to spear a beautiful girl in one easy lesson and exposes the secrets to famous street magic, like bending spoons with psychic powers. And the magician dares to cheat death when he attempts to escape before being ground to dust by the crushing blades of a wood chipper. When magic's biggest secrets finally revealed returns.
The magician will now demonstrate the power of mind over matter using this ordinary teaspoon. Watch carefully as he concentrates on the spoon, using his brain waves to make it bend before our very eyes. Amazing. And a bend that won't easily be straightened. This is one piece of silverware that's not going to fit back into the drawer, thanks to the power of the mind. Okay, so how did the magician bend this ordinary spoon with his mind? The secret is that the spoon isn't so ordinary. It's rigged with a spring at the center, so it will always curl up into this bent position. When the spoon appears to be bending by itself, the magician is just slowly releasing his grip on the spring, causing it to go from its open position back to its naturally bent position. The trick spoon does all the work. But how does it appear to be ordinary and ungimmicked when the magician shows how he can't straighten it? The secret here is that there are two spoons. The one with the spring that bends, and this one that is already bent. He keeps this identical bent spoon hidden in his hand at the start of the trick. See? He casually holds it in his palm while we are busy watching the other spoon. Once the spring-loaded spoon bends itself, the magician simply switches it for the duplicate bent spoon when he pretends to struggle with it. He's really using some sleight of hand to switch the spoons, leaving the one with the spring hidden in his palm. All he has to do now is show the bent spoon, and we believe he did it all with his mind. But we're smarter than that. We should warn you not to attempt the magician's next dangerous trick, which involves this very imposing-looking sword.